Okay, I want you to picture the scene. It's the Zurich Film Festival, October 2025.
Right.
The red carpet is just complete chaos. You've got flash bulbs popping everywhere, reporters shouting.
Go frenzy.
And right in the middle of it all is Alexander Skarsgård, from True Blood, Succession. He leans into a microphone, looks totally calm, and says something about his new BDSM film, Pillion.
And this one quote just changes everything.
He says, "What I've done in the past, who I've been with, men, women, it's not really relevant."
And just like that, the internet absolutely ignited.
Oh, instantly.
You saw headlines screaming, "Buy King." The TikTok edits were immediate. It was like this collective gasp went through Hollywood.
It felt like the moment. But cut to today, January 21, 2026. That whole narrative, it's completely shifted.
The clarification is in, and let's just say it is not what anyone wanted to hear.
It's a classic case of what was said versus what people heard.
Welcome to StarScope Report.
Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
Okay, so let's just rip the Band-Aid off.
Please.
The By King coronation is officially canceled. A brand new Variety cover story dropped yesterday, and Alexander Skarsgård is setting the record straight.
He is walking that comment from Zurich all the way back.
To really get why this feels like such whiplash, we have to go back to October. He was promoting Pillion, this film where he plays Ray, a dominant gay biker.
A very intense, specific role. And he gets asked a pretty standard question, right? Did you draw from personal experience for this?
Exactly, and that's when he gives the quote that launched 1,000 Reddit threads. I want to read it again, slowly.
Okay.
He said, "I mean, I do have a kid, but what I've done in the past, who I've been with, men, women, to me, what was important was that this felt like an opportunity to tell a story about a subculture."
And you can see why people spiraled.
To me, that sounds like a list. Who I've been with, men, women. How is that not what he meant?
Syntactically, that's the whole issue. He listed men, women, right after the phrase, "who I have been with." So the reaction on Twitter, on Reddit forums like FOMOI, was just pure celebration.
Right. They saw it as this casual coming out.
Totally. People were pulling up old clips, his chemistry on True Blood, saying this was the confirmation they always suspected.
But now, in this new interview, he's saying that's not it at all.
Not at all. In the Variety piece, he says he was completely taken aback by that interpretation. His direct quote is, "It was definitely not an intended statement. I don't know what I was talking about."
I don't know what I was talking about. I mean, that is a rough defense.
It is. It sounds like a cop-out, but his explanation is that he was trying to say his background doesn't matter.
Okay.
He was trying to shift focus to the story, to the character. So he was listing men, women as a hypothetical. Like, regardless of who he could have been with, it was about the role's authenticity. The syntax was just so clumsy.
It just sounds like classic actor on a press tour brain, You're exhausted, you're on autopilot, and your mouth just gets ahead of your brain.
For sure. But you got to feel for the fans who really wanted this By King fantasy to be true.
So why do you think people latched onto it so hard?
It really speaks to this, starvation for representation. The public is so eager for these big, loading men to be openly part of the queer community. So we engage in this kind of joyous interpretation. We see what we want to see, and honestly, it ignores some other pretty direct evidence. Do you remember the Graham Norton show back in November?
With Miriam Margolyes, of course. She has zero filter.
None. And she just asked him point blank, "But you're not gay, are you?"
And he said,
He replied, "No, not really."
No, not really. That's pretty clear.
It is. But that Zurich quote was so ambiguous, and it came before Graham Norton, so people held on to it. They thought, not really, still left the door open for bisexuality.
But this Variety interview pretty much slams that door shut.
It does. It means he's a straight actor doing his job, playing a role.
And maybe we all got a little too excited. But you have to admit, even if he isn't queer, he is selling this movie like he is.
Oh, 100%.
Because if you think that verbal slip-up was messy, just wait until you hear the truth behind that super romantic viral moment with Pedro Pascal.
Coming up, we break down the red carpet look that featured actual sex toys printed on silk. And why Alexander Skarsgård was terrified he might vomit on Pedro Pascal.
Okay, the fashion. We have to talk about the fashion on this press tour.
Yes.
Because even if Skarsgård isn't queer, his stylist, Harry Lambert, knows exactly how to dress him like a queer icon. This whole letter daddy aesthetic was a choice.
It's what we call method promotion.
Method of promotion. So it's like method acting, but just for the red carpet.
Exactly. We saw it with Margot Robbie for Barbies and Daya for Dune. But here, it's doing something specific. He's performing the vibe of the movie.
He's signaling allyship.
Right. He's telling the audience, I'm comfortable with this world. I respect this subculture. And it generates massive buzz for what is, a pretty small indie film.
It definitely got people talking. Let's get into the details. Zurich Film Festival, where the whole quote thing happened. He wore that silk shirt by Magliano. From a distance, it just looked like a cool abstract pattern. But up close?
Oh, it was not abstract. If you zoomed in on the photos, the shirt was printed with illustrations of dildos, lube bottles, and paper towels.
Wait, actual lube bottles on a red carpet shirt?
Yes, explicitly.
Yeah.
Sex toys and cleanup supplies.
That is wild. I mean, wearing a dildo shirt to your own premiere, that's a power move.
It's so subversive, it forces everyone to engage with the kink aspect of the film. It basically says, you can't sanitize this.
And it didn't stop there. In London, he wore that Ludovic de Saint-Cernin look, the tight, lace-up leather pants.
And the backless halter top. It was very vulnerable, very sexualized.
And then Cannes. The thigh-high Saint Laurent leather boots over his suit pants. It was like half business, half biker.
Yeah.
But speaking of Cannes, we have to talk about the viral moment.
The kiss.
The video, seen around the world. The movie gets a 7-minute standing ovation. He turns to Pedro Pascal, embraces him, and plants this long kiss on his cheek. The internet just melted.
They called it non-toxic masculinity, pure romance. It was the perfect end to this method promotion tour.
But the reality behind that kiss was significantly less romantic.
And way funnier.
Skarsgård told Entertainment Weekly that he wasn't overcome with emotion. He was overcome with a bad case of food poisoning.
He said he spent the entire 8-hour flight to New York with his cheek to the floor of the airplane bathroom, just dry heaving.
So during that ovation, the moment we all thought he looked so emotional and teary-eyed, he was actually just feeling incredibly queasy.
He admits he has no idea what Pedro Pascal even said to him because he was using 100% of his focus on not throwing up.
It's such a hilarious contrast, isn't it? We're all seeing this tender moment of brotherhood, and he's just trying not to vomit on an international movie star.
It kind of ruins the fantasy. But it also shows how much we project onto these celebrity moments.
It really does. But honestly, holding it together for a 7-minute ovation while fighting that's an Oscar-worthy performance right there.
That is sheer dedication. It got people talking.
So we have the scandal, we have the fashion, the near-vomit incident. But the biggest question remains, is the movie actually any good?
Because sometimes all this press tour drama is just to cover up a bad film.
But the reviews are in, and they are kind of shocking.
If you're loving these deep dives into the chaos of celebrity press tours, make sure you're subscribed. We've got the full breakdown of award season coming up, and you do not want to miss it.
Okay, so let's get into Pillion itself. Because beyond all the gossip, this movie is getting serious critical acclaim. It debuted with a 100% score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Which is incredibly rare, especially for a queer film with such explicit subject matter.
So it's directed by Harry Lighton, and the casting is just fascinating. You've got Harry Melling playing Colin.
And you have to remember, Harry Melling was Dudley Dursley in Harry Potter, spoiled cousin.
Total transformation. Here, he plays this timid parking enforcement officer who lives with his parents.
And then he meets Ray, Skarsgård's character, a confident gay biker, and they start a BDSM relationship.
And the title, Pillion, I had to look this up. It's the passenger seat behind a motorcycle driver.
Right, but it's also slang in queer biker culture for a bottom. It implies being taken for a ride, trusting the driver.
And what's really interesting is how much they focused on authenticity.
They worked with the real gay bikers motorcycle club, the GBMCC.
Right, that club is a real thing.
Oh, yeah. Real members of the club are in the film as extras. They were even on the red carpet at the premieres. Skarsgård talked about going to their after parties, immersing himself in the community to really understand it.
That explains why the method promotion felt so specific. He was actually hanging out with these guys.
Exactly. And Jake Shears from the Scissor Sisters is in it too.
But what the reviews keep saying is that it's not just shock value. Variety called it understated and explicit. The Guardian called it brilliant and funny as hell.
Funny as hell is not what I would expect from a BDSM drama.
Me neither. But Skarsgård said he wanted to avoid two extremes.
Okay.
The super sanitized, palatable version of gay romance, but also the really scary, dangerous tropes from older films like Cruising.
Right, where the whole subculture is portrayed as this dark, terrifying thing.
Exactly. He described Pillion as warm, sexy, funny, awkward, and weird.
That word awkward feels really important. It makes it sound human.
It's key. It treats kink as a real relationship dynamic, not some sleek, stylized fantasy or a scary pathology.
I just can't get over the Harry Melling transformation. From Dudley Dursley to a leather-clad submissive in a critically acclaimed film. What a career pivot.
It's amazing, and it really shows Skarsgård's commitment to supporting indie film. He's an A-lister. He could be doing anything.
But he's using his platform to get eyes on this small, niche story.
And it worked. The dildo shirt worked. The ambiguous quote worked. The vomit story worked.
And that's not even the wildest part.
Yeah.
Wait until you hear what Skarsgård thinks his mother will say about his leather-clad performance.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
Skarsgård had this great quote about his family's reaction that I think just perfectly sums it all up.
Okay.
He said he thinks his mom will like the film because it's portrayed with the perfect amount of respect, but not too much respect.
Not too much respect. I love that. It means it's not treating the subject like a fragile museum piece. It's treating it like real life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then he mentioned his late grandmother, who he called sexually liberated.
Yeah. And
He said she would have devoured this movie.
devoured. What a word choice.
It's perfect, isn't it?
It really is. Well, after all the syntax and the sex toys and the stomach bugs, I think it's safe to say Pillion is going to be one of the most talked about films of the year.
Agreed. And hopefully people will go see it for the story, not just the scandal.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.